Hi and welcome to another video from the workshop here at RC Legends. Today we're just going to be looking at a few of the FPV gear that we do offer on the site. First of all, we're going to be looking at the Boscam transmitter. We are going to be looking at how to set that up, looking at the cables that come with it. We're also going to be looking at the 7-inch FPV monitor, which comes in with a built-in 5.8 GHz receiver on there. We're going to look at how you can get that working with the Boscam transmitter. We're also going to have a quick look at the Turnigy minicam, and again looking at how we can get that working with the other equipment that we're looking at today. So first of all, we're going to look at the Boscam transmitter. This is the 200 milliwatt version. So first of all, it comes with a multi-cable, which includes power output, your ground, your video in, and your audio. Now today we're not going to be looking at the audio. It's fairly straightforward, exactly the same as setting up the video, but we haven't got anything that we're going to be using audio with. So first of all, you need to get this soldered up to any of the equipment that you're using. Now today I'm using a camcorder that's already got the standard composite output, so I don't really want to hack apart my cable that I've got for that camcorder. So I'm just going to put a jack on the end of it. So what I've done, I've just stripped off the casing. I've then got the centre pin, which is the video out, and I've got the outer cable, which is the earth or ground. So on your cable here, we've got the yellow, which is your video in, pretty standard colour for video. So first of all, we're just going to tin the ends of the cables. So I'm just looking at the doing the video one first. And then I'm just going to do the ground. So that's all tinned up. And then I'm going for the centre pin, which is, as I said, the video. Then I'm just going to get a little bit of heat shrink just to isolate these. If you get them touching while it's operating, then it's just going to scramble your video. So just put a bit of heat shrink over that cable before I solder it. I'm just going to solder the two together. There we go. Then just going to heat shrink that down, just so it's all isolated. And then I'm just going to do the ground, which again I said was the black. So I'm just going to do exactly the same. So on those isolated, as I said, if they do touch, you're just going to get a scrambled video feed. So now they're nicely isolated, I'm going to get that connected into the transmitter. Don't worry about these three cables. We'll get onto the red one when we use the Turnigy cam, because we don't need, that's basically your power output, we don't need that for what we're using today. And again, we're not going to use the audio feed in this tutorial. So once you've got that set up, we're going to get our camcorder here, plug our video feed into the jack that we've just soldered on, and then we need to look at the power cable. You've got a standard JST connector on the end of there. You can solder on whichever connector you've got on the battery that you're going to use, or alternatively you can solder that straight onto your power distribution on your quad. So then once you've got that there, I'm just going to connect up the battery. I'm using 3-cell today. 2 or 3-cell is absolutely fine. It's rated up to 15 volts, but if you go up to 4-cell, when your battery's fresh, you're going to be running higher than 15 volts. So I wouldn't recommend that. So stick with your 2 or your 3 volts. So I'm just going to plug that in there, and as you can see, I get a red LED light on the back of the transmitter. So that's all powered up. First of all, I'm just going to pair it with our 7-inch FPV monitor. So I'm using 2-cell on this, which is all you can use. You can't use 3-cell, always 2-cell batteries. So I've got the battery plugged into there. As you can see, it's turned on. What I'm going to do is just power up the camcorder now. Just wait for that to come on. And as you can see, I've got the live video feed on the screen. Now, out of the box, it probably isn't going to be on the right channel. So you've got a set of dim switches here, and you've also got a set of dim switches on the back of the receiver. Sorry, on the back of the transmitter. Now, me personally, I wouldn't touch those because it's just as easy to match up the channel on the back of the box that you're using. So I just flick through those until you get the correct channel. So I've just flicked one of those, you're getting a poor signal. I flick it back and you're getting a nice clear image. So that's all you have to do for that. So now I've got my live video feed coming down to the FPV monitor. So I'll just turn that off. So it's easy as that. The only thing you may struggle with is just matching up those frequencies, because there are 8 channels. So you've just got to go through it and find which one's working best for you. If I go back now and just address, just power that down there, just address this red cable that you've got here. Now if you're using something like the Turnigy Minicam, this requires power to work. So what you've got here is a power jack as well as video jack. Now a video jack can connect into there. Well, you just put the opposite connector on that if you're doing it that way. And for your power, you basically share the ground, which is the black. So you'd have a ground from here and a ground from here, both going to that black cable. And then the centre pin on that would just be the red cable there. Now, for me, I wouldn't be using those. I would snip that, find out which one is your live, which one is your positive, and then I'd be soldering straight into that. Just because otherwise you've got to start putting extra jacks on there, and you're just taking up room on your aircraft. So and that's about it. But again, if you don't, if you're using one of these, then you don't even need to use the jacks. You can just snip that off there, isolate all the wires, find out which. I mean, this one plugs there, so just using your standard voltmeter, you can find out which wires go to which pins. So you can hardwire it in rather than having all these jacks knocking about, because it's just going to take up room and possibly look a bit messy. So you can hardwire it straight in, and again it would work exactly the same as you just saw with the camcorder. Once you've got that video feed going into there, and once you've got powered up the camera, it will work exactly the same way as having the camcorder connected. Thanks for watching another tutorial from RC Legends Workshop. Keep on watching.